Hello, welcome back to my channel. We are back at it again with another Amberlynn read slash salty crab reaction. So we are on part 2 of Amberlynn's live stream where Salty Crab debunks Amberlynn's lies in the live stream that Amberlynn did. I did the first part of it on a live, so go check that out if you'd like. It's very long. I paused a lot. I'm gonna try to not pause as much this time around because it's a 37-minute video and I don't want this video to be too long. It's definitely gonna be at least an hour. So let's just get into it. Also, as I said, let's just get into it. I'm gonna keep talking. Beck did upload a video. We will be doing a reaction to that as well in another video. I think I'll do it probably right after this. But that should be very interesting. But now, let's just get into it, shall we? I also put it at 1.25 speed. We might put it higher. We'll see.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome to part 2 of debunking all of the lies that Amberlynn told in her live stream called Breaking My Silence. If you missed part 1, I will have a link for it down below. Now, this second part, the part that we didn't get to yesterday, it's quite long. And if we went through every single thing that she said, we would be here all day. So I'm going to be skipping a lot of it and just focusing on the things that I felt she was either lying about or misconstruing things or attempting to refute claims with bad receipts. And before we start, I just want to say that I will give Amberlynn some credit because during this live stream, there were times where she acknowledged her wrongdoing and she did take accountability and she said, I shouldn't have done that. I wish I would have done it this way. And I was wrong.
Here's the thing. I appreciate Salty Crab trying to give Amberlynn something, but Amberlynn truly did not take much accountability. The only thing that she genuinely took accountability for was Beck wiping her, and she only admitted to Beck wiping her for 9 months. Beck said it was much longer than that. Beck was wiping Amberlynn before the hysterectomy. So while sure there was some accountability in it, it was accountability baked in a lie. So, okay. And the only other thing that she really took accountability for was taking up Beck's time, which to me wasn't truly taking accountability because that wasn't like the main thing. It was that you were controlling and abusive towards it, not that you were just taking up their time. And while I appreciate, I suppose, that you at least acknowledge that, the only reason Amberlynn did acknowledge it was because it was her way of at least accounting for something while denying all the rest of it, right? So like it would look really bad if Amberlynn just didn't take accountability for anything. So she had to take for her what was the least of the evils that she did. And so sure, okay, I took a person's time. Like, yeah, that's bad, but you know, I didn't do all these other things, which we know are not true because we watched it happen, right? But that's why it's like I'm not so inclined to give Amberlynn any like pat on the back for it because it really was all a tactic to not have to actually take accountability for the really horrendous things. Not saying that taking up someone's time isn't horrendous. It absolutely is. But it's like I said, like the lesser of two evils of the things that she did. Also, I'm sorry, the clouds keep coming in and out. So we're going to have some lighting stuff. Sorry.
And that is definitely a big change for her from what we've seen over the years. And while so much of this stream was her lying and justifying things, I will give credit where credit's due. Some of it she did take accountability for. Now, I also feel like some of that was because she was backed into a corner. She couldn't talk her way out of things. And some of the things she took accountability for were pretty minor, while the things that she lied about were pretty major, in my opinion. So anyway, let's just get started. Ready? Let's go. Oh, one more thing I would also like to point out, I do think that it's pretty hypocritical of Amberlynn to make allegations against Mr. Snowflake in this live stream, pretty serious and awful allegations, without knowing the whole story.
I will say I know that there was allegations. I don't know what the allegations were, so I'm interested to see what it is, but I don't think Amberlynn has any room to be having any allegations in general unless she has the full story, because Amberlynn's whole thing is that when the haters or girl world speculate or say their opinion on something that they see online of her, she claims that, well, we don't know the full story, so we can't be doing that. So like for Amberlynn to like be talking about Mr. Snowflake, I guess we'll see like what it's about, but like I'm assuming it's something in his personal life, and like Mr. Snowflake doesn't show his personal life, so she really has no business in speaking about it. The reason people speak about Amberlynn's personal life is because Amberlynn constantly puts it up for everyone to view and talks about it. So you then make it accessible for people to have an opinion on it.
The exact thing that she is complaining we are doing to her, she is doing
Yeah.
to someone else. And I'm not going to get into it. If you want to go see what she said, go ahead. But I just think that that was really, really low of her and extremely hypocritical.
Oh, okay. So I do want to point this out as well. So Beck said in a I'm pretty sure it was their live last night. Yeah, it was. They were reacting to Salty Crab. I finally know who that is. Hello, Salty Crab.
Oh, good. She finally knows who I am. Even
Amber, you know who Salty Crab is. You comment on their shit. Get out of here. Okay.
Though she was just accusing me of doxing someone,
right?
Her ex Erica, just a couple months ago, but now she knows who I am.
Okay. Right.
I said in my members live stream that Beck and I were friends for a year after we broke up, and that Beck did not want me telling anyone, obviously, because of backlash. And so then Salty Crab literally said that in their video, and Beck was reacting, and Beck was like, that never happened. We were not friends at all. I never said that. Never said that.
Okay, so before she continues, let's just hear the clip for ourselves.
Yeah.
That never happened. Me and Amber were not friends. I was only ever around her because I had to be because of Eric and Ricky. And I was friendly with her because I still had stuff at the apartment. I still had mail at the apartment.
Yeah.
She still wasn't completely out of my life. And I mean, I knew she was going to do some stuff and talk bad about me on her lives and in her vlogs still. I knew that was coming. I knew it was going to happen. So I knew not to get too close. I knew to keep my distance. But no, I also didn't say.
I mean, that kind of adds up for me. Amberlynn has this track record of keeping all of her ex-girlfriends as like friends. Oh, we're best friends still. Like, don't worry. Like, all of my breakups are super amicable and like I'm super mature in all of them. Blah 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 blah. But they always inevitably stop talking to Amberlynn and like leave her because Amberlynn pushes all of them to the point where they can't handle it anymore. That's literally every single relationship. Also, I'm sorry, you can probably hear Dimitri going to the bathroom right now.
Don't tell anybody because I don't want backlash. Never said that.
So I have a screenshot of that being true.
Okay.
So I'm going to read it and then I'm going to show it. So it was April 17th, 2022, which is almost a year after we broke up.
Why is she laughing?
I sent Beck, I am literally getting harassed because people think I lied about us still being friends. Why can't I just tell them I wasn't lying? This sucks so bad. And Beck said, it's best that they don't know. As sad as it is, that would kill my channel. I do not want them knowing because they'll just make it an even bigger, more messy thing. I'm going to address that I saw you and have the rings, but we don't hang out, dude. That's just how it has to be. That's what they have to know because YouTube is my only income and I'm only getting $200. And at the time, Beck was saying that they had a job, even though they didn't. And I said, but what about the backlash?
Girl, what was the point of that? You're such a classist bitch, to be honest. You are such a classist bitch. I hope you end up having to go and work for a minimum wage job. Like, I really hope that happens to you one day. You do not know what it's like to live in the real world, Amberlynn. You sitting there going, they said they had a job and they didn't. Well, technically they did, Amber. You were sitting there saying you had a YouTube income when you were living with Crystal and making like 50 cents, bro. So like, be so fucking real, Amber. That is a job. It's not thousands of dollars, but it's still a job. It's still an income. Like, you're such a classist bitch.
I'm getting for lying, even though I'm not lying. And Beck said, if this comes out, it would be even less. Talking about money.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm literally choosing you over myself. And that was that. So I stayed with the lie.
Okay, so first of all, I'm
literally choosing you over myself. Amber, who cares? Like, okay, you know what? Maybe Beck will address this. If it happened, it happened. Like, it's not great that Beck lied. But it's also like, it's not to give excuses. It is like not okay that Beck's lying to their audience, obviously. But you have to kind of also look at it as like, look at the kind of person that you are, Amberlynn, to the point that like people are afraid to like admit that they still are around you. Because like you're such a shitty person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
Love to see the whole conversation.
Yeah.
You'll notice that Amber started to read more of the conversation, but for some reason stopped herself. And I do believe that this could have been a situation where Beck was worried about if they turned on Amber and said, you know, we're not friends, then how would Amber retaliate? And Beck even says that, you know, they had to kind of play nice. Also, I think that Amber's trying to make it out like they were all just besties, you know, getting together, hanging out, playing games, when Beck has made it clear that they only ever saw Amberlynn in passing whenever they were both just happened to be at Eric and Ricky's. And honestly, I think this is kind of a very minor thing to bring up when there are so many bigger allegations that she's purposely not addressing.
But it's like people, it's funny because like I'm literally like, okay, so something that Beck said straight up.
Look at her face. She really thinks like, ha, I got Beck again. Amber, this is like Salty Crab just said, not that it's okay, but like this is such a minute lie compared to the shit that you have lied about on your channel for a decade, dude. You've lied about being SA'd by so many different people. You've lied about your foster care experience. You've lied about so many horrendous things, dude, that like Beck not wanting people to know that they still see you and like are around you. Like, it's a silly lie. And I think most people can understand like why Beck would not want that out, you know? And also like understanding you as a person, understanding what that would look like for you, you know? Like for Beck and you as like interacting individuals.
Hi, what Beck said last night was a lie. And like, I'm also showing that like Beck has urged me to lie repeatedly to my audience. And I would do it to
Amber, that's one time. Show us, if it's so repeatedly, show us all the different times. Or at least have like 5 examples, bro. You showing one time after you broke up is not showing that Beck asked you to repeatedly lie to your audience. And to be honest, Amberlynn, you asked Beck to lie to your audience all the fucking time. So like, you don't get to throw stones when you live in a glass house, my dude.
protect them.
Wasn't it Amberlynn who not too long ago said that if she doesn't tell us everything, that's not necessarily a lie, but now she's like, oh, it's 100% a lie. And also her saying that Beck told her repeatedly to lie to her audience, but yet we're only seeing this one time in particular.
Right.
And let's also think about why they asked Amber not to say anything. Beck had just lost their job. I'm sure they were worried about money. And here comes Amberlynn making it seem like she and Beck were just hanging out like old friends when Beck said that wasn't happening. And don't forget, Beck knows how Amberlynn purposely misconstrues.
Also, like Beck said, like they would hang out, but like it wasn't, I mean, it's already been said, but like it wasn't like just Amberlynn and Beck hanging out. It was only with other people. Beck wasn't going and just hanging out with Amberlynn. They weren't kikiing together. Like the moment that Beck broke up with Amberlynn, she started shit talking Beck like immediately in the breakup live stream. So like, you really think that someone's gonna go and want to hang out with you? Like want to be best friends with you? Like go out to lunch with you? No, dude. Like the only reason is because you sat there and kept trying to steal Beck's friends. And if Beck wanted to continue to hang out with their friends, it would require you to be there because you probably kept inserting yourself into situations that realistically you should have like stepped away from.
Things. And the last thing that they needed when they were in a bind and worried about money was for Amberlynn to come along and paint a picture of Beck that was not at all true and that would have people upset with them.
People are genuinely so committed to like me being the bad guy.
You are, like, Amber.
They will not see any like wrongdoing in Beck. Like it is
Amber,
so weird
people see it, but you're just a shittier person. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, Beck has done bad things, but Beck takes accountability for those things. Beck can admit when they've done something that they shouldn't have, or when they act in a way that they shouldn't have. You, Amberlynn, sit there and go, I've never done a wrong thing in my life. Like, you guys just think I'm so bad, and like, it's not fair to me. And meanwhile, we have like literally hundreds and hundreds of videos showing you doing like abhorrent things, dude. And you still, and like, evidence coming from your own mouth, and you still won't admit the things that you've done. Like, still to this day will not admit it.
I don't want you guys to think that they're a bad person, because that's
Amber, that's literally your entire life, is you sitting there trying to paint them as a bad person. You trying to paint them as this like disgusting individual, and you're actually the victim in all of this. And you were just like, you know, thinking about them and trying to be a good person. And sure, you took up their time, but they actually did all this stuff. Like, Amber, get the fuck out of here.
Because they're not, but like,
So why are you doing all this?
Needs to go around everywhere.
You haven't taken accountability.
Amber, even if we were to agree with you on this, that's only two things that they quote unquote lied about. Telling you not to tell people y'all were friendly with each other, and the fact that they did actually meet Jade in person. To me, those are two very minor things.
Also, again, Salty Crab is incorrect on this. Destiny did not say, Beck did not say that they never met Jade. In fact, they said multiple times they've met them. Jade was nice to them, to their face, but apparently later on they found out that she was talking shit behind their back. But yeah, they never said that they never met Jade, ever. What they said is they didn't really know Jade as a person. Like, they knew them on a very superficial level. Like, knew Jade on a very superficial level. So, like, I think that Salty Crab's just not fully aware of that. But that's just like, Amberlynn purposely misconstrued what Beck said to make Beck look like a liar again. And it's just not correct.
In the grand scheme of what's come out about you and your relationship with Beck. And I don't know about anyone else, but I am holding Beck responsible or accountable for the things that they got wrong. Like I said, I played a clip yesterday where I said, if Beck said they didn't meet Jade in person, that is not true. They actually did. But
they
I'm
never
still
said
waiting
that.
to hear about some big thing that Beck lied about, that you have actual proof that it's a
Beck clearly wiped you. See, this is like that moment where I was like, where I literally almost slipped, and I was like, you know what I did? You know what I did for them? But I can't. I would never.
See, Amber, this is what grinds my gears.
Amber, shut the fuck up, because genuinely, what did you do for them? Like, I don't think that you were wiping up their free bleed. I don't think you were wiping their ass. I don't think you were wiping off their neck cottage cheese. Like, be so for real, Amber. Like, what? Like, you sit there trying to play the holy person while constantly like picking and prodding and like what do you call it? Like, essentially saying everything but the actual thing. You want us to believe that you did stuff for them, the equivalent of them wiping your ass and cleaning your free bleed. Like, Amber, you're vile. You're just a vile human being. And even when you try to act holier than thou, you can't do it, because at the core, you are a shitty, shitty person.
About you, Amberlynn. You owned up to Beck having to wipe you, which honestly, I will give you credit for. That's something that a lot of people wouldn't have done. But then the moment someone reminds you of it or makes you feel a certain way about it, you're ready to throw Beck under the bus and make it seem like you're such a better person than they are. Like, oh, Beck told everybody about this. I would never do that.
So also part of the live stream last night from Beck, they were literally laughing at me, but that's fine. I quoted it. So, they were like, oh, there's something else I want to talk to you guys about. Giggle, giggle.
Amber, are you trying to steal my style of my summaries I do for your member streams?
Amber, this whole thing, while literally supposedly taking accountability for your DV towards Beck, your like full ass abuse towards Beck, you've been giggling and joking and smirking. But when you do it, it's nervous laughter. When Beck does it, they're a malicious bitch. You literally live by two different rules, dude. It's one rule for Amberlynn and one rule for everyone else. It's literally psychotic.
Giggle, giggle.
Oh, this is good. I'll have to save it for later, though. That's what they said in the live stream. And then they also added on It's stuff that I'm holding on to just in case. Laugh, laugh, laugh.
Okay, so let's actually listen.
Yeah, Amber, because you sit here and slowly try to, like, diminish Beck's reputation for, like, years and years at this point. So Beck is trying to be respectful of you. Beck is trying to not be, like, to explain their side of the story without being grotesque. But if you continue to, like be a vile human being, they're not going to continue to respect you, is what I got from these kinds of things, you know?
To this awful clip that she's talking about.
Ming, what happened to the bed frame? What do you mean, like the bed frame?
Like that's what you brought up.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you
That
mean?
bed frame that you had to get rid of, you mentioned that.
Yeah, you mentioned it. You said you wanted to hold on to that. They're talking about like what you were talking about just a minute ago, where you were like,
I'm having a giant brain fart. Hey, wait, is it the one that we had bought together for
I don't
her
know,
room?
you mentioned it.
Oh, the bed frame. Oh, in her first apartment when we first met.
Yeah.
And she was moving out. Oh, I really want to tell you guys, but I've got some stuff that I'm holding on to just in case.
Are you
You know, and that might be one of them.
Sorry, bud.
You really want to know? I'm so sorry. Maybe I should.
They're not laughing at Amberlynn. They're laughing because they didn't know it took so long for them to figure out what the people that were talking in the background were saying. Amberlynn, you're purposely misconstruing the statement and acting like we can't go look at the live stream and see for ourselves. She's banking on the fact that people won't go and check things out, that they'll just take Amberlynn's word. But Amberlynn, it has far past the time where people will just take your word for anything. Because again, you are a known liar. You are a known manipulator. You purposely misconstrue things. So people aren't just going to take your word. They're going to go look for themselves. And as we can see here, thank you to Salty Crab for putting the link in, or the clip in. We can very much see that it's not at all the way that Amberlynn's trying to portray this, as though like Beck is laughing at the bed incident, but rather they're laughing at the fact that it took them, they literally were blanking on what they were talking about.
I said anything, and now people are going to literally waste away dying for this tidbit of information.
So as you can hear, all the giggles and the laughs, in my opinion, those were because Beck forgot what they were talking about and said they had a brain fart. And they were all just kind of laughing about that. And Beck literally downplays it and says, well, it's just a tidbit of information. But if you only heard Amberlynn's description of it, it sounds like this diabolical plot that Beck laid out and gave a maniacal laugh. Wait till you hear about this thing that I've been saving.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, I'll just do it. I'll save Beck the trouble and I'll do it. So Beck wants to talk about a time that I had bed bugs.
Amber, it's real funny that you think that we're gonna believe anything you have to say. Like, we're gonna want to hear Beck's side of it too. For real. And again, it's crazy that you sat there 2 seconds ago bashing Beck and trying to portray Beck as this shitty person because they're laughing, and you're sitting here laughing while explaining the situation. Again, one rule for Amberlynn, one rule for everyone else. Like, truly psycho behavior.
Not me laughing too. It's actually genuinely kind of funny.
Okay, wait. So if Beck giggles, it's because they're being mean.
Right.
If Amber laughs, it's because it's genuinely funny.
Right.
How we found out I had bed bugs. They wouldn't touch me. They never bit me, not one time. But Beck, when we first started dating, they would
Amber,
come over.
that doesn't make sense. Bedbugs bite anything and everything that has flesh and blood. That does not make sense. You might not have felt them because let's look at you. And also at the time you had crazy amounts of sores all over your body. I mean, she still does, but I think she hides them better. But she had crazy amounts of sores all over, and those were probably bed bugs that she was itching at. Hello? Like, get out of here. Amberlynn wants to be this dainty little queen. You guys, the bed bugs just, like, didn't come towards me for some reason. They just, like, all skirted away from me. I was too dainty for them. I just didn't have enough blood in my body, you know? Like, get out of here. You would be, like, a fucking buffet for them.
And they would always leave with, like, little bites on them. And I'm like, what is happening?
Amber, I'm failing to see how this is a funny story.
Yeah.
You were living in filth, dude. You were living with overflowing litter boxes,
Yep.
feces on the bed,
Yep.
bed bugs crawling out of your wall,
Yep.
and you were out here just getting your nails
And to
done.
be honest, we know that Amberlynn lives in filth. We saw the apartment that Destiny and Amberlynn had in Florida. That shit was nasty. And Amberlynn did nothing to like clean it up, try to like make it look like more of a home when she wasn't working in the beginning. She wasn't working for like 2 months in the beginning, and she didn't do anything. That apartment when they left was absolute filth. Absolute filth. They had to end up sleep in the living room. Their bed was molded. The whole room that they were in was molded. It was just, it looked like a fucking squatter's home. Like, it was so bad, dude. And then we saw the way that Amberlynn took care of their room and everything in Kentucky before they moved into their own condo. We saw what the condo looked like. It was always messy. Every once in a while, Amberlynn would clean up. This is when she was trying to pretend like she's a homemaker. Like, Amberlynn is filthy. She does not know how to have a clean, nice home. And the only reason I think that's not absolute filth now is because she doesn't have someone to readily take her wherever she wants all the time. And I bet you that her mom probably helps and cleans up now. Like, Amber, you're filthy. You're a filthy human being. Hygienically, with yourself, hygienically in your home, you're filthy.
Going out to eat, going shopping. I mean, what exactly about this is funny to you?
Right.
I guess Beck said how they were never actually in love with me and they never actually loved me. I did not watch the Casey live stream.
That's not true. That's not true. Beck said that it took a while to gain romantic emotions for Amberlynn, but for a while they were in love with you. Once those romantic emotions grew, they were absolutely in love with you. Where it dissipated is when they literally were taking care of you full time, like a full caretaker. At that point, there's no way to have romantic feelings for a person like that. You know, like, you're not living life with them anymore. You're not building memories. You're just keeping them alive.
I guess in that live stream, because trust me, people have been contacting me.
Go watch it then.
So when I'm the type of person that I will not have sex with someone unless we're in a relationship. I will not have sex with you unless I love you
Well, we know that's not true. She had sex. What was it? Tone pecs. Sorry, that was the thing. Tone pecs with Dalton. They're not in a relationship. I don't think Amberlynn loves Dalton. So that's clearly not true. Also, you had sex with, like, Destiny the first night that you met. And you had sex with Feline the first time you met. And you had sex with Emily the first time you met. You're telling me you were in love with these girls? You'd never met them, and the first night you had sex with them. So this is bullshit. There's nothing wrong with that. You do you. No judgment. For real, no judgment. But, like, why are you acting like you're out here, you know, like this, like, you know, saint that, like, waits till marriage before you have sex? We know it's not true. You tell us. It's not true.
feel that feeling of falling in love with you. Like, I can't find you... like, super, like, I can look at someone and be like, damn, they're attractive, damn.
What is
but
this,
I, like,
Amber?
literally can't look at someone and be like, oh, I want to have sex with you, unless I literally love you, or unless I'm in a relationship with you.
We know that's not true.
I can do phone sex here and there, you know, stupid things like that. But, like, physical intimacy, not gonna happen.
Oh, God. Imagine Amberlynn Reed having phone. You know what? No. Let me not even finish that sentence.
Don't do it.
So it was April. So Beck first messaged me February 21st. And it was April. It was the second time I've ever met Beck in person. Yeah, it was April 10th or 9th.
Oh my God, Amber.
Or something like that. So it was the second time I ever met Beck in person, and they were staying the night with me. And we were making out on my bed. And they were trying to go further than that. And I literally told them right then and there, I had to be, like, nice about it. I was like, I can't do this unless, like, I'm actually in a relationship with someone. That's just, like, how it's always been for me. Like, when it comes to physical, in-person intimacy, I don't know what it is. That's just how it's always been.
Wait, so you're telling me the same person who wouldn't even kiss you on the first date wanted to go all the way? Oh my God, I sound like my mother.
Also, whatever. Beck is not a PDA person. So, like, Beck didn't kiss Amberlynn, really, didn't hold hands, wouldn't really get even close to Amberlynn. And you're telling me, yeah, on the second date, she's like, or they're like, take your clothes off. I don't see that happening, Amber. I really don't see that happening. Like,
Go all the way on the second date. This person,
I was expecting a goodbye kiss.
Were you seriously?
Oh, hell yeah. Like, just a little peck or something, you know?
Like on the lips?
Like on the lips.
and it's funny because we know Amberlynn is very sexual. Is a very, I mean, like, she's prude in the way that she speaks about it, but she's super, like, sexual and thinks it's, like, cool to be, like talk about sex. And, like, she thinks it's cool to be an adult that's sexually active, essentially. She talks about, like, she's a teenager. So, like, and we know that Beck, like, even, we're gonna probably hear it in this clip. I think in this clip they even said, like, they're very traditional. Like, they are a Christian, and they, like, while they don't practice it so strictly, like, there's still things that, like, they grew up with, and, like, thought processes that they grew up with that they still follow to this day that they had growing up as a Christian, like, in a Christian household. So it's like, Amber, if I see anyone pushing on the second date for sex, I see you doing it. I don't see Beck doing it.
now that clip is from when they had been together for months. And
Right.
you're telling me that Beck would have that type of a reaction to thinking about kissing someone on a first date, and they wanted to do the whole shebang on the second date?
Right.
Give me a break.
Obviously not when I was in high school. Like, when I was in high school, it was different. So anyways,
Okay, Amber.
it was not an hour
Amber,
later.
you weren't having sex in high school. The most you did was give a guy a hand job. Well, two guys a hand job in a movie theater. Felony offense. Or federal offense, not felony, right? Federal offense. But, like, Amber, she, like, wants us to believe that she's this dainty, like, you know, I don't know how to say it, but, like, this dainty girl that doesn't have sex until she's in a relationship and she's in love, but at the same time, like, everyone wants her and she just had wild amounts of sex. Like, she wants us to think, it's just, like, it's so weird. She contradicts her own self in the way that she views herself.
That was when Beck asked me to be their girlfriend. And it's like, I look back now and I'm like, I don't understand the situation. How did I force them to ask? I literally just said, like, I don't feel comfortable being intimate to that like degree, unless, like, I'm in a like, Beck could have said, yeah, I understand.
So now she's trying to make it seem like Beck just asked Amberlynn to be in a relationship to have sex with Amberlynn, which I don't believe. I don't believe that for one bit. It was Amberlynn that was pushing Beck into being into videos, pushing Beck into, like, seeing Amberlynn. Amberlynn sitting over there going, there's a lot of people that want me, so you better make a choice. And Amberlynn even, like, agreed that she said this. She didn't say it to, like, according to Amberlynn, didn't say it to the exact way that Beck was saying it, but, like, said, yeah, like, people wanted me and I wanted to know. I didn't want to, like, be strung along. So now you want us to believe that Beck just asked you to have sex with you on the second date. I don't believe that, Amber. Like, you're remaking a narrative and now you're trying to make it seem like Beck coerced you. Like, you're fucking gross, dude.
We could have just, like, moved on. I don't know.
Okay, so here's yet another story that proves nothing, doesn't prove that Beck didn't feel forced into the
No.
relationship. It's just a story that Amber's telling to make Beck feel
And
bad.
and this is hearsay. She said, they said. Like, this doesn't prove anything, Amber. And again, like, your story doesn't make sense from what we know about you and what we know about Beck. It doesn't make sense from things that have come out of your own mouth about this situation. So you're just lying now because you think it'll look good now. Again, you're banking on the fact that no one is going to go and remember old clips or look for old clips. It's so weird.
He's trying to imply that Beck, I guess, only wanted to get into her black leggings, and that's why they asked her to be their girlfriend, because Amber's just that hot and irresistible that Beck had to have her right
Beck
then.
said, "Ooh, all the bed bugs Oh, yeah, I want that baby. The overflowing cat litter, it's really turning me on, yo.
Hair. Did you tell Beck they were your employee? I've never said that unless it was during our live stream era, because
I don't believe
Beck
that.
was obviously getting some of that money, but I've never, like, during a vlog been like, oh, you're my employee.
They didn't get any of the money, Amber. So, hello?
That never happened.
Okay, but here's the thing. Amber will say that she never said a very specific thing or a specific word, but did she imply it? Did she say something similar?
The thing
That's
is,
possible.
I think Amberlynn 100% said, Beck, you're my employee, and Amberlynn now will not admit to that, because that is disgusting for anyone to say. There's no way to talk your way out of that statement. There's no way. So of course Amber was just gonna say, no, that didn't happen. Again, it's she said, they said. This doesn't prove anything, Amber.
And Amberlynn knows that it's her word against Beck's,
right?
Because there are no receipts for it. But I mean, if she was comfortable saying it once, it's very likely that she would be comfortable saying it on a similar situation another time.
The super chat is for Becky and only Becky. Don't worry. She gets paid doing these now. She's officially on the payroll. Did you force Beck into a relationship? Absolutely not. You can't force someone into a relationship.
In my opinion, this is something that Amberlynn can't really say if it's true or not. If Beck felt forced or pressured into a relationship because Amber was telling them...
And also, we know at the time, Beck was like super closed off, and even talked about this in the beginning when they started to be shown on YouTube. That Beck was super closed off, very like, it was very difficult for them to get close to people because she had been through like such a bad breakup, and they had a lot of trust issues. They said that like in the early beginning of the relationship. So like for Amberlynn to just act now that like, no, Beck was the one that wanted to be in a relationship with me and like begged me and like they just wanted to have sex with me, and now I'm realizing that, but like they wanted me. It's like, no, Amber, you wanted to rebound because Destiny had Dana right after you two broke up. Well, Destiny broke up with your ass. You wanted to show Destiny that, hey, look, I can get a partner too just as fast. I'm over you, in hopes that either one, it would make Destiny jealous and she'd come crawling back to you, or that because you can't be alone and you needed someone else to be around you and drive you places and be your caretaker and to feel desired by someone.
Basically, shit or get off the pot. There's other people who are interested in me. Then who's Amber to say that it wasn't true?
You didn't say what happened to the 6K. All you said was you shared a bank account. The 6K just went into the bank account.
So then at the end of it, Amber, when you broke up, that 6K should have been given to Beck. That wasn't your money to spend. That was Beck's money. Hello, it's not hard to understand the situation, Amber.
I don't know. It went into the bank account. There was nothing was ever done with it.
She's like playing stupid now. Like, what do you mean? It just went into the bank account. Okay, Amber. So then when you two broke up, why wasn't it taken out and given to Beck? That's the question, Amber. Hello.
Collected within all the other money.
So if nothing was ever done with it, then why not give it back to Beck when they moved out? This wasn't just any money. This was money they got because their mom passed away. They didn't want it to go toward bills or Target shopping sprees. And Amber had the means when they broke up to give Beck that money. I mean, hell, she has the means to do it now. But she would never do that because it's too important to her to maintain that she did nothing wrong.
But I remember Beck recently saying like they wanted to do things for their mother with that money. And I don't understand. Like, they got tattoos, went to the cabin, and we would buy cute little gifts to put next to the headstone and like things like that. Like,
Amber, that's not $6,000 worth. Are you fucking stupid, bro? Are you fucking stupid? We know the cabin was $150 each person. The tattoo was probably what? Like, it was the flower on their forearm. That was probably what? $300? Flowers or little things for the headstone. Okay, let's just say 100 to be generous. So where's the other $5,000, like $700, dude? Hello, dude. That's not $6,000. You're fucking stupid. You're purposefully you I don't even know what to say. Like, it's It's crazy watching her try to lie, and like you can see her lie face on. Like she's not good at lying.
Didn't come out to 6K, no, but like they were free to do whatever they wanted.
But we know that's not the truth, Amber. They had to freaking ask you if they were allowed to get a sweatshirt in the winter time. They had to ask you, is it okay if I get this? Like, you're actually so crazy. You're actually so fucking crazy.
Really confusing to me.
So earlier in the stream, Amberlynn said she admitted she was controlling to Beck. And now she's saying Beck was free to do whatever they wanted. And think about it. I mean, if we're all so confused about this whole thing, this money inheritance situation, imagine how Beck must have felt. Now, did they have the ability to use that money how they wanted? Yeah, they had their own debit card. But did they have the permission? It's possible that they felt like they didn't because of Amberlynn's admitted controlling behavior.
Right. And like, you think that if Beck came and like spent the $6,000, let's just say, on whatever it is that they wanted to do, or just on whatever they wanted in general, you don't think Amberlynn would have been like, why did you get that? Where'd you get that? What did you use? Why didn't you consult me? Blah, 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 blah. You don't think that would have happened? You don't think every time Beck would come home, and if they want to buy something, they came home and Amberlynn would know that they bought something? You don't think Amberlynn would question? Like, hello? Like, she's, again, acting like people aren't aware of the way that abusive people work. The way that, like, just humans work in general. Like, be so real.
I thought you paid for the cabin. Yeah, it came out of the little bank account that we had.
Like, the $100.
All of that money is together, like, in one. Like, we shared all of the money. What was mine was theirs.
No.
That was the way that I always viewed it.
Nope.
It's funny how she's trying to spin this now. In her member stream, she said how generous she is. She's like, I'm not a greedy person. I even paid for this cabin on this vacation to Gatlinburg, which Beck has come out and said she didn't pay for the cabin. She paid for a portion of it.
Right.
Everyone else on the trip pitched in some money toward it. But now she's like, we shared the money. It was our money. We paid for it. Whatever money was in that account, it was both of ours. But how many times have we heard, just in this one stream, have we heard her say, I bought this, I bought that? And in her members only stream, she said, I helped out her family financially. I mean, don't forget, she even said, I bought Beck a car. I bought Beck art supplies. So which is it? Did you buy things for people to buy their love? Or was the money both of yours? And the money came from a joint account that you both contributed to?
Because I still paid for the car, I paid for the insurance, I paid for the car payment, gas.
Yes, Amber, because you made it a point to be the only person that had an income coming in. So you can't blame then everyone else around you for not being able to pay when you don't allow them to get a job. Hello, Amber. That's just such silly thinking. She like can't keep a straight lie. You were controlling of their time. You wouldn't allow them to go get a job. You wouldn't allow them to make any income of their own. And I'm sure that if they made a little bit of income from their art business, their commissions that they had, that it would go straight to Amberlynn and her Uber Eats.
I'm not gonna say that. Food, etc., months after we broke up. And Feline was like, this is just getting weird. It was September, like towards the end of September, I was like, because we broke up June. Yeah, it was in June. It was the end of September where I was like, we need different bank accounts. Like, I can't have you like keep using.
Amber, you were on their bank account. So go get your money out of the bank account and go get a new bank account. It's their bank account that you parasited off of because you were too lazy to go get your own account. Hello.
Money, like, it just doesn't make sense. It was the end of September. I finally was like, please switch car payments and car insurance so you can start paying for it effective immediately. Same goes for the phone bill and whatever other bills. So that was the end of September.
Here's the problem. Okay, the whole money situation, especially at the end of their relationship, was super messy. But what Amber is conveniently leaving out is that at this point in time, the time that she's talking about, Beck was, for lack of a better word, working for Amber. Starting at the beginning of August, Amber made the announcement that Beck was getting paid for being in live streams with Amberlynn.
I'm paying Becky to help me with these live streams, by the way, because I need the help.
Because I need the help.
Because I have too much anxiety.
Now, Beck came
Oh,
out
you're
and
nasty.
said that they never got their share of the
Nope.
money from those live streams.
Nope.
So, in my opinion, the least Amberlynn could do was cover some of Beck's bills. Although, I mean, it probably still didn't even amount to what she owed Beck. And Beck stayed on those live streams until September 2nd. So, when Amber's trying to imply that she was just out here giving away money and
Right.
Beck was taking advantage of her, that just wasn't the case.
And then
Also, the like, you switch your things effective immediately. Like, who the fuck are you, dude? Who the fuck are you? You left Beck with absolutely nothing. You forced them to sit there with you 24/7, wiping your stanky ass. Left them with absolutely nothing. They broke up with you. You got fucking pissed off. The audacity of someone to leave an abusive relationship, and you better switch all this stuff into your name now. You better start paying it. With what money, Amberlynn? You kept them hostage for 4 fucking years. So they're gonna magically have thousands and thousands of dollars? You refused to give them even their inheritance, let alone the money that you owed them. Like, you're actually such a vile person.
right here in September, I was like, you need to have your own bank account. Don't just switch bank accounts. Like, have your own separate. I was like, just open a new one. I'm going to keep this one. And she like,
No,
super-
dude, it's their account. You added it. So you get your money and you switch banks accounts, you dumb bitch. But you're too lazy because you don't know how to do shit. You're actually so fucking annoying.
mad at me. And they were like, then go to the fucking bank with me. I was like,
Yes, they should be mad at you because one, it's a joint account. So if someone wants to come off, I think both people have to be there. And two, it's not your fucking account. It's not your fucking account. You joined on to Beck's account. So Beck has to essentially sign off saying that you can be the primary account holder now because it was their account. Oh my God, Amber is actually so fucking stupid.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, Amber. If
Yeah.
you both are on an account and one of you wants to get off the account, you probably are going to have to go down to the bank and sign something that saying you both agree to that, just for legal reasons. I mean, it's not just something that you can call the bank up and be like, hey, take me off this account.
Right.
yeah, I was like, you need to open your own bank account.
And
Just
why
open one.
why is Amberlynn sitting here doing this? You need to go do this. You need to go do that. Like it's Beck's mom or some shit. Like Amberlynn holds any fucking power over Beck at this point. Beck is a grown adult. You are the one that decided to join into their account, just like you did with Destiny, just like you used all of Crystal's money. So why is it that Beck now has to uproot their life and change all bank accounts? Because you're too lazy. That doesn't make sense, Amber.
But keep this one. I need you to start using your own money for blank. I can't say. Plus, when I pay you on the 22nd, I don't want you using this bank account anymore. Like, we weren't together for months.
But again,
But she
Amber,
never-
you were supposed to be paying.
You never paid Beck. You never paid Beck, Amber. Hello?
Them a lot of money. Let's not sit here and try and paint Beck out to be like some type of scammer
Right.
or moocher. It wasn't like that. And if you wanted them off the account so bad, why didn't you just go with them to the bank like they wanted you to? And I find it interesting that once again, we don't get to see any of the context with this conversation.
No.
She blacked out her whole response to Beck. I mean, you can make almost anything look like a receipt if you don't show the whole context. And notice on the date of this screenshot, the date of that text, that was the last day that they did a stream together. So when Amber was texting him, you need to get off of my account, they were still doing streams together.
Right.
And like I said, if it was such a big deal, they were with you on that day. You guys did a stream together. Why not go down to the bank and sign whatever needed to be signed and get it done? And I mean,
This is giving Beck probably stood their ground on something and Amberlynn texted this because they're too much of a little bitch to like face Beck in person. So at night at in the afternoon at 1:00 p.m., you're sitting there and texting them probably because Beck said that they didn't want to do something. So you said, okay, well, you have to pay your own bills. I keep saying it, but she's just so fucking vile.
Maybe Beck was like, I'm not taking my name off that account until I'm paid what I'm owed.
Where did joint account money go after breakup? Beck was able to use it the whole time we were together. Like, what was mine was theirs. And then
It's
even
just not
months
true.
after we broke up.
That's not true.
From the live streams, they were able to use it for food, for housing, for clothing, for whatever they wanted, needed, car insurance, gas, car payment, like, et cetera, like, that never stopped even after we broke up.
Here comes the spin again. It went from, guys, can you believe I was paying their bills and for their food for months after the breakup? And now she's implying that she just allowed Beck to do that because of the live streams that Beck was a part of. And did she tell Beck, hey, you know what? Use whatever money you need
Amber,
until you stop helping me with the streams.
special place in hell for you.
She actually did the opposite, because back in August when she, quote, put Beck on the payroll, she was requiring Beck to pay for half the bills.
Right.
I told Becky she has to pay half the bills.
Yep.
And that's that. That's on that.
You
because
see,
we're not together.
You see Beck's face towards Amberlynn. Like, can you imagine someone that abused you for 4 years, financially, emotionally, mentally, verbally, abused you, forced you to be with them 24/7, taking care of them like a inpatient, in-home caretaker, saying that you're not allowed to go get a job, you're not allowed to go hang out with your friends, you're not allowed to go see your family, and they break up with you finally and say, this is not healthy for either of us, and they turn around and go, well, you have to pay for everything now. You have to pay for half of everything. With what money? With what money, Amber? You knew exactly what you were doing. And the fact that she still does not see the problem with this shows how vindictive and evil this woman is. She can take accountability for taking Beck's time all she wants. But the reality is, this is one of the worst things that Amberlynn has done to Beck. And to this day, refuses to take accountability for it. Refuses to see the abuse that this is. And it's wild to me.
So I chose to make myself a boss.
So again, just to recap, Amber and Beck break up. Amber tells Beck, we're broken up, you need to pay half the bills. One way you can do that is by doing live streams with me, which I will then
essentially forcing Beck's hand. Hey, I'm gonna now put on this burden that you didn't have before, that realistically I should not be putting onto you, in order for you to do what I want you to do. And I want you to be on live streams with me because I make the most revenue when you're on there, because people don't like my ass, people like Beck. So I'm going to keep you around so I can continue to make a shit ton of revenue. And then I'll just say, yeah, this will pay for your bills. Crazy.
Or by paying your half of the bills, which basically means as long as you're helping me with the streams, I'll keep paying the bills.
Yep.
And now here we are years later, and Amber's trying to turn it into a situation where Beck was being a moocher and just allowing Amber to pay her bills and expenses. That's just not how it went down. Now, before we watch this next part, I want you guys to watch this clip from Amber's members only stream that she did just 2 days before she did the public stream.
Yeah, I was extremely toxic. Yeah. And I want to be able to take accountability of the things that made me toxic. And I'm not one time do I want to sit there and say it was because of my BPD. Not one time am I going to say that. Not one time am I going to say it was because I was depressed, or it was because I felt lonely, or it was because whatever.
No, it's not, Amber. It's because you're a bitch. At the end of the day, it's because you're a bitch. And we really saw your true colors coming out. I mean, we've always seen them, but we really saw them after the breakup live. That whole era of you doing lives with Beck, we really saw how just absolutely vile and evil you are, Amber. How you will destroy someone and make a person's life a living hell when they don't do what you want them to do. And that is a really disgusting trait to have, Amber. And that has nothing to do with any mental illness. That is just you as a person, Amber. Your mind is sick.
I really want to be like, yeah, I did do that. And here's how I know that it's wrong that I did that.
She didn't do that.
Why do you think you're so controlling in your relationships? Ugh. People hate. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why people hate when I talk about my BPD, but it has to be one of the
because it's an excuse, Amber. Because it's an excuse. Because there are people, thousands upon thousands of people out there right now who have BPD, who are in relationships and don't do the shit you've done. Because it has nothing to do with BPD, Amberlynn. You are a 34-year-old grown woman with access to mental health services, access to money to pay for the mental health services, access to unlimited amounts of time, and you choose to sit there and stay mentally ill with whatever the fuck you have and to continue to mentally rot. and bring everyone that comes into your orbit down with you and make it everyone else's problem. It's not your BPD, Amber. It's you. You are a grotesque human being. You are a nasty, nasty person. And I hope to God no one ever gets into a relationship with you again. Although she might still be in a relationship with Emily. I'm kind of turning to the side of I think that she's still in a relationship with Emily. But if she's not, I hope no one ever gets in a relationship with you again, because you are an evil, evil person, dude.
Ever experienced in my life, because that's genuinely something that I struggle with.
Like fucking nasty
but that's why.
hair.
Why did you buy your own engagement rings? Because I was the only one who made money.
And here we go again. I thought
So
it was
crazy.
our money, Amber. Why is it that when it comes to buying a car, buying art supplies, buying rings, it all of a sudden turns into her money? But when people talk about the inheritance, it goes back to being our money again.
Do you understand that you financially abused Beck, even if you didn't mean to? No. And I say that honestly because they had free range of every single penny that I made, obviously besides the stuff for taxes, of course.
No, they didn't. And it was obvious, Amber. It was obvious. They weren't coming home with shit. They weren't coming home with anything. They weren't spending money on anything. We barely saw them buy a t-shirt or a hat, dude. Meanwhile, you're sitting there buying hordes of journals, hordes of earrings, hordes of this and that and the other. Things that we didn't even see till years later that you had literally hordes of. And you want to act like Beck had free reign. No, they fucking didn't, Amber. No, they fucking didn't. And I guarantee you held it over their head every single day that you were the one making money and they didn't make money. Meanwhile, you didn't allow them to go out of your sight. So, Amber, again, it doesn't make sense. It truly, like, you have to be so sick in the head to really view all of this as okay.
Like, it's so easy for her to say that Beck had free range of the money. But we can look back at their vlogs and see that just wasn't true.
Right.
I showed a clip in part 1 yesterday where Beck was asking if they could buy a hoodie. Someone who has free reign of the money doesn't do that. And Beck said in their live stream that if they did ask for money or to buy something, Amberlynn would hold it over their head.
And it's like, when she would do these things, it always came with a price to pay.
Yeah.
Because if you did anything to upset her, then she would hold it over your head. Well, look at all of these.
And Destiny said the same exact thing. Amberlynn would buy things for Destiny and then always comment about, oh, why are you acting this way? Why are you not nice to me? I buy you all these things. Like, it's a transaction to Amberlynn. It's I did this for you, so you better do what I want. You better act the way that I want. That is not free reign, Amber. That's a transaction.
Things that I did for you. And that's why a lot of people stopped for, taking things from her. Like Eric and Ricky, they wouldn't let her buy stuff for them or buy their food or anything because they knew if they did, she would hold it over their head.
Yeah.
My family stopped allowing her to do stuff for them, like her trying to be nice or anything. They were just like, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Because they knew she would throw it in her face later on.
So, yeah, is that really having free reign of the money? I guess in the technical sense, but if you don't want to have to hear about later how much Amberlynn did for you and let her use it as a way to manipulate you, then I don't really consider that having free reign.
Have you ever been attracted to a minor when over the age of 18? No. Well, actually, Casey. So when I first got with Casey, I was 16.
First off, you would talk about how attracted you were to Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish was like 15 and you were like 27, dude. So that's just a straight up lie there, but okay. You talked about Darlene being bae. You were 26. Darlene was 12. So just because you had no chance with them doesn't mean that you weren't attracted to them. And you express that attraction to them online. So that right there is a lie.
I mean, when I turned 17, he was still 15 for a little bit. And then, we're a year and a half apart, so.
Well, I think you might be forgetting at least one other person, too. I mean, we won't get into all the other countless allegations, but here's one that's pretty self-explanatory.
We just watched some Roseanne.
Good.
True that.
Did you like the episode?
Yeah, it was good.
Tell them what you think of Darlene.
She's bae. I love Darlene.
She said she'd be a pedophile towards Darlene.
Darlene is 50. Nikocado said you lied about having cancer. So me and Nick used to text, obviously. So,
I would like the tea from Nick's point of view as to why he says those things. Nick's a very smart individual. Like, he trolls, but he's very intelligent. And you can tell that. So I really would like to know what the whole thing about that is.
June 5th of 2020, he texted me. I saw your YouTube video today. This was when I posted my cancer video. I saw your YouTube video today. I wish I knew the right words to make you feel better. Seeing you cry like that really put a pit in my stomach, and I hurt for you today. You're going to get through this and come out a stronger person. I was hurting so bad. And he was like, and then sent me this whole paragraph about trolls, haters, cancer, you know. And then because he was telling me I shouldn't be doing YouTube because of my cancer, it's going to make it worse, etc., etc. So I was like, I wasn't sure what to say. YouTube is my job. I don't want cancer to debilitate me. And then he was like, I know you told me personally that the comments affected you, And then he asked, what stage of cancer is it? And at the time, I didn't know. So I said, they don't know a stage yet, but yeah, I definitely appreciated the advice. Hate comments sometimes bother me, but since I've been diagnosed with cancer, I kind of see things differently now. And he asked, have you been...
What's crazy is she didn't change at all. She literally did not change at all. She went on to gain weight. We see where she is with her health and her weight at this point. She is the same weight that she was around that time. She hasn't changed at all, so she clearly doesn't see things differently.
See if it spread. And I was like, yes, I'm getting test done. I've had constant appointments lately. It's overwhelming me. So all of these things are true. This was me and Nick texting about cancer. So it's like, for him to sit there and say that I lied about it.
But what happened afterwards is my question, because I'm sure that in the beginning everyone believed it, and I do believe that she had cancer. I just want to know, like, what is it? Why does Nick say that? Because it doesn't come out of nowhere. Like, there's clearly something fueling that, and I don't think it's just to troll Amberlynn. Like, I don't think he would go that low into trolling someone about cancer if they really did have cancer. So I want to know what it is.
Not true.
Now, whether you believe Amberlynn had cancer or not isn't really the point here.
I'm sorry, but you definitely see Dimitri's hair flying all over. He's a very hairy cat. I can't help it. I'm sorry.
Take a conversation that happened the day after she announced that she had cancer and use that as proof that, oh, see, look, Nick knew I had cancer. If he said I was lying about it, well, then he's the real liar. When that's just not proof. And again, I'm not going to get into if she'd
make a shitty lawyer. I mean, we know she'd make a shitty lawyer. She's too dumb. But her lack of intelligence really does shine through in this of what she thinks evidence is. Nothing that she has shown has been evidence besides the Beck saying to not tell people that they're friends. That's the only thing that could be it. And even then, it wasn't full context. But I'll give that one. Everything else has not been any evidence. Like, it's tragic.
That's not what this is about. She's calling another YouTube creator a liar because the day after she found out she had cancer, they contacted her and said that they felt sorry for her. Who knows what information Nick found out after that day that possibly changed his mind. We don't know any of that. But my point is, this is just one more receipt that isn't a receipt. It proves nothing. But Amber is going to sit there and act like, I don't know what you guys want from me. I showed you all these receipts. I showed you all this proof. If you still want to call me a liar, I guess that's on you.
Beck said they picked lint off of you all the time. You said it was only a few times. Explain. Okay, so never did they pick lint off of me. It was a massage. And no, it was literally like once every 6 months because they genuinely did not like doing it. And something else to add to that is it was never 45 minutes. It was usually like 20. And they always had their headphones in and they got to listen to music and they were just doing their own thing.
It's okay, you guys. They got to listen to music. I forced them to do this thing, but like they could listen to music. Amber, again, I don't believe you. I am inclined to believe Beck over you because Beck does not have the history of lying like you do. And it just sounds like you're trying to minimize, once again, something that it doesn't matter if you made them do it once. Once is too many times, Amber, if someone doesn't want to do something. Hello?
It only seemed like it was just a loving partner thing to do. Like, I personally don't understand.
And finally, after how many hours the truth comes out, Amber admits she knew Beck did not like doing the plucking or massage that Amber says. She says that she knew they
So,
didn't.
yeah, okay, I didn't even catch it, but yeah, she says, I only made them do it like every 6 months because I knew they didn't like doing it. But then goes on to say, I thought it was a loving thing that we were doing. How can it be a loving thing if you know the person doesn't like doing it? So it felt nice for me, and I could give a shit what they felt. That's what it was, Amber.
Like it. But she asked them to do it anyway. Now, Beck says it was a lot more often than once every 6 months, but even then, asking your partner to do something they don't want to do, that's physically painful for them, where you set a timer. Amberlynn equates that with her sitting and watching movies with Beck. I don't see the comparison, but yeah, Amber just admitted she knew Beck didn't want to do it, but she kept asking her to do it anyway, knowing that Beck would say yes every time. So that's pretty much the last big thing that I wanted to cover. In my opinion, I felt like this live stream was pretty much pointless. The whole theme was supposed to be Amber.
All right, I'm going to stop that video now. But yeah, I feel like this entire like live stream that Amberlynn did was really just showing the kind of person that she really is, showing her ass. Showing that she's an evil, vindictive person who can't take accountability, who will try and throw dirt and mud on anyone around her that that finally stands up for themselves and has a voice for themselves. And that's just gross. Like, there's really no other term for it other than it's gross. I hope Amberlynn has her upcomings one of these days. I hope that Amberlynn feels all of the things that she has made everyone else feel in her life at some point. I really do not wish the best for Amberlynn at this point. Like, I don't want necessarily bad things to happen to her, but I do not wish good things to happen to her either. But that is all I have for you guys today. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.